we will have to move on to our next speaker and the final speaker of today. He is, as our previous speaker, Rickard, involved in the fashion industry and also involved in challenging this fashion industry. He is the CEO of the design studio Guringo and the man behind the material called Stream Materia, among others. And he is here to share our thoughts on among others, how disposable can be a fantastically sustainable alternative. So please welcome Erik Lindvall.
Yes, thank you. My name is Erik Lindvall, and I am the CEO of Guringo Design Studio in Stockholm, and I'm here to present a recent startup that we have been working on for 7 years now that's called Stream Materia, and that we offer zero waste clothing for humans and avatars. And Stream Materia is our ambition is a radically new way to challenge or to take on the challenges of the overconsumption within the fashion industry in a kind of radical new way. So we make material that is compostable with a short lifespan and that is designed to die from the very beginning. We tend to explain it with, you can compare with how the forest works. And if we are to create a true transformation towards a renewable or circular system, we need to implement time within our products because there is no status quo or permanence within a circular system. It's either entropy or progress. Then it depends on how fast or slow it goes, but we are kind of focused, we're stuck in the industrial paradigm, this definition of what quality is, and that is something that lasts a long time. We see as upon the forest as consumption per se is not a bad thing. It depends, I mean, the ecosystem, the forest or the biosphere for that matter, relies on consumption of lives, of leaves, of insects, of grass, or of trees. But it all has to bring benefit or values to the other stakeholders within the ecosystem. And for the forest, as an example, a tree cannot decide how long it gets to live. It is decided by the forest itself. So if we are to create a productions that is circular, we need to look upon the biosphere as a stakeholder at the table. And everything we produce need to bring value to that stakeholder also. And to do this, we see that we need to implement time. And instead of kind of embracing the consumer expectations of the product, that would be the quality, something that lasts long, we aim to change the consumer expectations of a product to become an experience instead. So by doing this, we want to leave the comfort zone of the industrial paradigm that we know that we own something, we have something, either if we rent it or so. I mean, there are super good ideas about this, and we are not challenging everything. We are offering another option. But seeing how this can be truly an experience that is cost something, it's cost ownership, it doesn't stay. It's like food that you can manufacture or produce and is consumed fresh. By doing this, you get enhanced experiences, you get access to an unlimited system of design experiences, but they go away. They're just staying for a short time. And by doing this, we can offer ways of still doing what we love, but in new ways, rather than stop doing the things we love, and then we might make it. So this idea came to life 7 years ago. It was actually in a meeting with Rice in another project, and then we got this idea about clothes that actually grows old on your body. So we wrote a manifest and did a fashion story. I come from the fashion industry as a photographer. So we painted this picture about clothings that you could consume without a guilty conscience, that actually were good for the biosphere, that you could portion out where it was needed as nutrition or raw material for new resources rather than waste. So what we are aiming for, I need to emphasize this, is to just reduce the word waste from the whole equation. But this idea started as a fantasy, but then we got approached by different actors, and we said, yeah, let's try it for real. So we have been trying to explore this conceptual idea for 7 years, and now we're launching a startup that is offering this material and this design system for real. So the material then, if you go to the hard fact, it's like it's a biomimical material that is designed to die from the beginning. So we produce it it contains cellulose and residues from the food industry. And we look upon the food waste as where we want to leave it, because then we have the logistics already set up with the food, with the whole the domestic food waste system. Since we have alcohol, we have fat and stuff in the products already, it has a really good biogas potential. It's similar to food. It's 320 liters per kilo, and food has about 400. So it's 100% compostable, and it's even good for the biogas production. So we can get climate neutral energy from it. The material also carries biofunctions, which we tend to call biofunctions because it has thermal regulating qualities. It cools, say, a runner. If we make a running top or singlet, it cools the runner, by attracting water and sweat and containing it within the garment. We have also components that you see in traditional dermatological products. So it's skin treating, and it can also absorb or add skin absorbents to the material that you as a user can absorb through the skin. And since the manufacturing is automated and customized, we can portion it to the consumer where the consumer wants it on his or her body. Finally, the material is made by microfactories, automated microfactories that can be deposited wherever we want, basically, and use locally sourced resources. That would be fibers and residues from the food industry. So it works pretty much like this. We design the garment in Clove 3D, as Ricky was talking also about earlier. It's our go-to program. So we design the garments virtually, and then we print a scaffolding or a mesh that you can compare to with a capillary system of a leaf. That is a skeleton to the garment, because we coat it with a emulsion or foam that was kind of needed a stronger structure. We moved away a bit from this, but it's still there in some applications. And this is done on a 3D printing device, automated 3D printing device, where every pattern is made simultaneously. So we do the material as well as the design or the garment patterns at the same time. Then we dry these patterns, and we weld or stitch them together to become a wearable product that you wear once or twice. And then once you're done with it, it becomes resources to new raw material, and that could be green chemicals or nutrition or biogas. Here we have 3 different cases that we can focus on for now. To the right, we see a green dress, and that represents the bespoke fashion, the one-offs for parties, for weddings, for holidays, where we can see that we tend to use these garments once or twice, and then we never use them again. So we don't need to keep them as a guilty conscience in our wardrobe. We can, or as a bad conscience for consuming, we can just throw them in the food compost to become energy or raw material. In the middle, we see a running singlet that focusing on the biofunctions. That's that for the athleisure market that we're looking into functional garments. And to the left, we see an example of a 3D garment. And this is really interesting for us because we're started working with the gaming industry, where we can produce skins for games, and then we can, when there's a launch of a game, they can be maybe the first ones in the communication campaign or whatever. You can bring some of the garments out of the virtual reality to become physical holograms for a while, that the consumer can get to wear without a guilty conscience once or twice. And we also last year we did a collab with Puma Innovation, where we produced a conceptual collection with running singlets, focusing mainly on the biofunction and the story behind that, because so you don't get to own or keep the stuff. So what other values can we offer that is better than having it in the wardrobe or using it again and again with an ecological impact? As an example, we can say that so the runner gets a cooling function. It absorbs sweat, so it cools the runner. That's an added value, but it comes with a price, and the price is that since you sweat and the garment contains components that absorbs water until a point where they break down, they get too much water and they dissolve. So you might need to get to the goal within 2 hours or 20 kilometers, otherwise you will be naked. And this is a way to understand how circular systems work. It is a way to describe the potential of this perspective or this material. But it is also a way for us to embrace circular system and in the end life and death. We need to understand that nothing lasts forever. It's either progress or entropy. And it's also Cinderella, one of the most known stories to us that we can retell. So I know we have heard this before, and it's really interesting because these are the times we are comparing this. We have set up a system for a unlimited access of design that we don't own, that we can download and print in the local micro factories, and then we can use them for once or twice and then just leave them without a guilty conscience. And I need to emphasize this, that we need always to produce the material that they need to be a value to the biosphere. That is where most logistic chains end with a consumer. We need to see where does it go. So we need to, when we do these garments, they need to have value for the biosphere. Where we are today is that we have been able to print the garments with a automated 3D device without the scaffolding, and we can now stitch in it with a compostable thread, and we can make compostable buttons. And this shirt is made under 8 minutes on demand. So it's drying phase for about 20 to 30 minutes. So we can produce it under an hour for the consumer for now. And this is something we aim to shorten quite a lot in the future. There is a Japanese expression called mono no amara that could be translated to the passing of time or the sadness of things. And you can explain it with, if you're alone walking in the forest in the autumn and you're feeling kind of sad and lonely, that is, you actually feeling the passing of time. And you can also say that a scream from a bird that is echoing over a lake is much more beautiful in the distance than if you heard it constantly screaming into your face. Or a cherry blossom flower is more beautiful when it's actually dropping. The moment it drops from the branch to the ground, it's more beautiful than when it's stuck on the branch. And this is something that we need to understand and emphasize, that there is something beautiful within the moment, and there is a value in that. And that is the core to circular systems. And also a way for us to bring this radical idea into our communication, into stronger understanding. And that's that's pretty much from me. And thank you for listening.